Hey, Coach, how do you feel like Will Rogers has handled the transition from the interior to the edge so far?
Well, you really got a whole group of guys that are handling the transition, because those guys that were playing rushes outside are now putting their hands down. Will's moved outside. So it's really a whole group. It's not just one guy that's having to make a transition. And so far, those guys are working hard, doing a good job at some things. Obviously, with 2 weeks of practice left or under 2 weeks now, want to continue to work and hone in on their fundamentals and get these guys playing really fast. So, excuse me, been encouraged by what we've seen so far, but still a lot of work and a lot of things to get done.
And what were some of the main things you took away from your group's film after watching the film of the scrimmage on Saturday?
I liked. I thought we executed better as a group, man. I thought, our effort was a little bit better than the week before. Still need to improve there. We still got to work on details, with their hands or steps, stuff like that. But you can see a little bit more comfort level. I guess that was the overriding theme. And anytime you're bringing in a new system, you want to give the kids the confidence that what they're doing is going to be best for them once they get out in the field on Saturdays and compete against people. And so just trying to build that confidence as we continue to critique and try to improve on what they're supposed to be doing.
Thank you.
Yep.
Cody Schuler, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, just kind of wondering who has looked and just been the most like natural in that role, maybe since, day one. You mentioned a lot of guys trying to make that transition. Who, since, the start has just looked really like natural and a perfect fit, with their hand in the ground, rushing off the edge?
I think in a different sense, because putting their hand down, they still do a lot of different things that maybe they did in the past. A lot of these guys were guys that at the previous school I was at, Wyoming, we recruited. And so they certainly have the skill set to do those things. And the beautiful part about our defense is we're not trying to pound square pegs into round holes. We're trying to find what part of that kid's game. So it'd be different things they each do, whether it's, pass rushing, playing the run, different facets within playing the run. There, I would say there's one guy that's just absolutely stood out, but they've all transitioned pretty well. And we as defense should try to simplify things and let these kids play fast. So, I don't want to call out one guy and just say, hey, that's the guy, da-da-da. But I've been encouraged how well they've taken to it and been coachable to what we're doing and buying into what we're trying to establish with these young men.
And I know you just mentioned kind of, different guys with a different skill sets, whether it's rushing the passer or playing the run. Do you expect a lot of rotation on that defensive front, different packages and just kind of getting guys in there when the down and distance kind of fits their skill set? Or do you think you'll stick more to playing, a handful of guys, more reps?
We'll see. We'll see how the next 2 weeks go. Obviously, you'd like to play a ton of guys and do all that stuff, but we still have a responsibility to put the best guys on the field. And so we'll see how the next 2 weeks go, and we'll see. We certainly don't want to give Oregon State any heads up on what we're doing.
Yeah. And then I know you said you don't want to single out one guy, but all camp, we've heard a lot of people kind of mention Willie Taylor, whether it's other defensive linemen or whether it's offensive linemen. What have you seen, in your first season kind of coaching him and what he can do on the field?
Willie's explosive. He can run and he can do some things for you. And I got told when I was a young coach a long time ago, you can't coach speed and athleticism. You can develop a little bit, but God gives us certain things, and God gave him that. So again, we're just trying to hone that in and fit the scheme and find what Willie does best for that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Other questions for Coach? Theo, go ahead.
Is there anything that kind of jumps off the page about Oregon State? I know you guys have started to kind of look at the Beavers on film a little bit. What kind of stands out about them? They obviously have a pretty talented running back coming back, but first year quarterback and some new guys at receiver too.
Yeah, even with what I know, they lost some players last year, but man, a couple of the old linemen that are coming back, running backs. Obviously even the quarterback, although he didn't start last year, he played in quite a few games. There's some ability coming back, and even some of the receivers that are going to emerge. Looks like a pretty emerging, up-and-coming, explosive offense. That's probably going to do a lot of different things. And when you've been around groups like that, they continue to grow, even through COVID. You'd imagine there's going to be some new wrinkles they put in. And so it's certainly, I think, a formidable and daunting task. We're excited. We're going to be up for it. But it's not like you're walking into a group of young men that this is not their first time going through the scheme that coaching staff's installing. So we know we're going to have our hands full. And again, we're just trying to prepare our kids to play fast. Our deal is always stop the run first. So focus on stopping the run, and then whatever happens after that happens after that.
Can you tell the edge group is especially eager to get to a game situation because you guys are about the only group that can't really, I mean, you can't hit the quarterback and can't do a lot of stuff that you'd normally be doing in a game setting, I guess.
Yeah, but that's anywhere though. I guess maybe there's some people across the country that hit their quarterbacks, but that's we talk to the guys, hey, we're all equal in the locker room, but the quarterbacks are more valuable. You know what I mean? And we all know whether it's here at Washington State, we've been a ton of experience with great quarterbacks, or other schools that we've coached at, is you want to stay away from those guys. So we do enough in drill work to do that stuff. And really that's coaching in general. You know, when I played, I'm getting old now, coached 20 years ago. Yeah, you would probably tackle more, live tackle more in practice, did things like that. But we've got to make sure that these kids' swords are sharp, but we also get them fresh and ready to go on Saturday. And it's finding delicate balance. And to me, that's why you're a coach. You got to find different ways to get them to understand techniques and fundamentals that you may not be able to do at, let's say, full speed or practice all the time in a live situation. But when the lights are on and those whistles are going, that it is live. If that makes sense.
Cody Schuler, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I know you're obviously more focused on watching tape of the Oregon State offensive line, but have you gotten to watch any tape of their, I know they have a good edge rusher on their team, Hamilcar Rashid Jr. Have you gotten to watch any tape of kind of what he does?
I haven't, but I recruited him out of high school, and so I remember him. He's a really good player. I haven't watched much tape on him, just seen some highlights and stuff like that, because, again, it's the other side of the ball. But I remember the young man, now grown man, I recruited in high school. He was a heck of a player. He transferred from Cesar Chavez over to Chandler High School, and man, he was lights out. So I remember him because we didn't get him, obviously. So I just know what he's done in the Pac-12 and the impact he's had and the stats he's put up. And but no, you're right on. I've been focusing more on the offensive line, tight ends, running backs, things like